next witness, somebody who I do have a lot of respect for, who's doing this for all the right reasons and answering questions honestly, was Lev Parnas. He's a Ukrainian American businessman, as you know, who worked closely with Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump. He testified on Capitol Hill. And boy, there were a lot of interesting moments in his testimony. Lev, I do appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Brian.
Thanks, Lev. Let me ask you this. I'm just curious. What is going through your mind when Matt Gaetz particularly is attacking you personally and you're getting into that with him? What is going through your mind at that time?
I mean, listen, at that time, I was just astonished and dumbfounded that after 8 hours sitting there to testify under oath, to be able to give them what I did in Ukraine, what I saw in Ukraine, so they could have it on the record, he chose to wait till the very last second to come and try to smudge me, I guess. I don't know, embarrass me, or I thought he thought that was embarrassing to say that I'm a criminal. I don't know. But the funny part about it is he forgot that he used to wear a jumpsuit also. He spent the night in jail, and he has his own problems that, I told him, I said, you don't want to go there, Matt Gaetz. You don't want to go there. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's a clown. I mean, that's all it is.
I completely agree with you. Obviously, a lot of the other MAGA Republicans up there didn't want to hear you. They didn't want to hear you, or they wanted to attack you. What were some of the facial expressions of some of those people that were in that room when you were being honest about Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani? Did you just sense that they just didn't even want to hear what you had to say?
I mean, they were just, you should have seen from Jordan to Comer, Gates was running around all day long, Pete Sessions. I mean, they were all just, they looked like they were about to throw up. They didn't know. They looked discombobulated. They didn't know what they were doing. Even their questions to their own witnesses looked confusing. I mean, they were just, like I said, it was a kangaroo court. I mean, just think about it. If they want to get down to the truth, the first two people that you call is me and Rudy Giuliani. Right. That's where it all started. Yeah. And then from there, you could start going. Mm-hmm. I mean, and the fact that they don't want to call their own hero, Rudy Giuliani, the one that discovered all of this, I mean, come on, that should tell you it all.
It does. If you're just joining us, Lev Parnas, he just testified on Capitol Hill. Let's talk about Rudy Giuliani for a moment. Here's a man who even I leaned. Here's a man who I believe was very well respected, Lev, particularly after 9/11 when he was the mayor. I thought he did a really good job, and a lot of people respected him, and I was one of them. How has it turned into who Rudy Giuliani is right now? I guess my question is, what happened to this man? He's a disgrace right now. I mean, what happened to him?
I mean, greed. But greed works in a lot of different ways. For him, it wasn't money. For him, it was the fame. He needed to be in the spotlight, and Donald Trump was his way to the spotlight. He thought that by riding Donald Trump's coattails, he could get to his dream job of Secretary of State, since he didn't make the presidency. And that's all it was about. And then he just got deeper and deeper, and, he's part of the cult. I mean, that's all I could say. I mean, once you're in that cult, I mean, it's a different world. And he's one of the leaders. He's one of the main culprits that goes out there and, brainwashes everybody.
I'm sure you've been asked this question before, but you probably knew who Donald Trump was before you got involved with any dealings with him. So the question to you is why? Why, Lev? You're obviously an extremely intelligent, well-educated man, and I appreciate your honesty, especially lately. But why did you even begin to ever get involved with Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump in the first place?
Thank you, Brandon. That's one of the reasons I wrote the book, for people to not only get all the information, to be able to understand what happened, but also to get understanding who Lev Parnas was. I wasn't a politician. I was a guy that immigrated here from the Soviet Union, grew up in the streets of Brooklyn, and I looked up to guys like Donald Trump. I wanted to be a guy like Donald Trump. So to be honest with you, I didn't see nothing wrong with Donald Trump, and then I got involved with Donald Trump, and then I got heavily involved, and I got involved in the cult, and then it was done, and I was in full head.
No, I understand that, and you're not alone. By the way, there's a lot of others that have not, doing a lot worse than you've been doing. Particularly Rudy Giuliani being one of them, and a lot of others. Moving forward now, though, I'm just curious. When was the last time you had a conversation with Rudy Giuliani? Has any of his people ever attempted to reach out to you lately?
Oh, no, they're scared. They're using a new tactic, Brian. If you notice that not only Rudy, but Donald Trump has never responded to me. Here I am in the front of the whole world. an impeachment of Joe Biden, basically telling the whole world that Donald Trump is involved and he knew everything that's going on. Did you hear a tweet from him? Did you hear a post from him? Did you hear a word from him? Silence, crickets. You know why? Because he doesn't want to put a light on it. They don't respond to it, because if they put a light on it, then the truth comes out. So the only way they could bury it is change the news cycle and move on, and people forget.
I would imagine, like many people in this country, including myself, they're very appreciative of your testimony on Capitol Hill. Have any prominent politicians reached out to you and thanked you for what you did?
Oh, absolutely. All of the Democratic congressmen thanked me, and I was honored and humbled to be there, and thank them for giving me the opportunity to tell the truth, because I'm not that same person I was 4 years ago. I've gone through a major change. I've been able to see exactly what's going on, and that's why I'm able to come out and now do what I'm doing.
You know, I look at Bobulinski's testimony, and I think of it as the opposite of yours. You're up there with integrity. You're honest. You're answering questions freely and honestly. And then I see this other man who, at least it appears to me, that's doing the opposite of what you're doing. He has a grudge with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. I don't believe he's answering questions honestly and directly. What did you make of his testimony, if you had the opportunity to watch it?
Oh, I sat right next to him. Not only did I watch it, I heard the whole thing.
Right, of course, right.
I mean,
right.
Look, I told him there that, you keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to end up the same place I did, prison, and that's the bottom line. And that's why he got all upset and tried to say that I attacked him. And I said to him, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, the bottom line is, look, this is a guy that there's a lot more to the story, I think, that we have heard yet. He put himself in the spotlight. We obviously see that he has a grudge. He has really no information except for hearsay and maybe, and it looked like it. And, he said that first time he met Joe Biden, and that means that's it. Joe Biden told him to go, rob a bank or something like that. Yeah. So, I think there's a lot more to the story. I think we're good, just like with the other witnesses.
Right.
I think we haven't heard the less of Tony Bobulinski.
I don't know, Lev. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't know if you can answer this question, Lev. It's a question I've been asking myself for a long time. What does Vladimir Putin have on Donald Trump? Donald Trump refuses to call him out for anything, right? In fact, sides with him and praises him. What does Vladimir Putin have on this man?
Nothing. It's simply that Donald Trump is a narcissistic idiot. And basically, he's Putin's puppet. He's his useful fool. Putin himself probably sits there and chuckles and can't believe the shit that Donald Trump does. Excuse me for my language. But, Donald Trump wants to be admired by Putin. He wants to come out on the world stage where him and Putin are like friends and are on the same level. So the only way he could do that is by keep sending Putin messages. And also, don't forget, Donald Trump needs Vladimir Putin. See, when people think Vladimir Putin has something on Donald Trump and that's why he's so eager, wrong. Donald Trump needs Vladimir Putin to get back in power. He understands that what Vladimir Putin and Russia is doing to interfere in our elections to get Donald Trump elected, that's the biggest payoff of them all.
Do you believe that Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani want Russia to win this war in the Ukraine?
I don't think it's about wanting to win. I think the thing is they just don't care. I don't think they just care. That's the problem. That's the sad part. Yeah, I don't think they just care what happens over there and who dies or what happens. As long as it pleases Putin, because it'll please, then in return they'll get something out of it.
Right.
Now just think about it. If Ukraine wins, what does Trump get out of it?
Sure.
And don't forget, he hates Ukraine. Ukraine, right. He's withheld aid. I could tell you everything Donald Trump feels about Ukraine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. I agree with you 100%. A couple more quick questions for you, Lev. We appreciate your time. So there are a lot of donors and people that spend private time, right, with a Donald Trump, or maybe even back in the day, a Rudy Giuliani. But your private time with them was very different. So my question to you is, what is it like hanging out, spending time, whatever the case may be, with a Rudy Giuliani and a Donald Trump when the cameras aren't on them? What are they like when nobody else is around but somebody like Lev Parnas?
They're arrogant, they're self-centered, they're all about them. You could see the narcissism flowing out. Look, when you're in that world and you're part of that cult, it's an amazing feeling because you're sitting with the most powerful people in the world and everybody around you and everybody knows it. And it's just an incredible feeling. But when you get out of that bubble and you see how they talk about people. I mean, just even constituents. I mean, people will walk by, they'll take a picture and then make a comment. You know, if it's a woman or something, Rudy would always make a little comment, you know, look at her or something, you know, the way she's dressed. Or so it's, you know, also, you know, even though Rudy tried to play that role that he is for Jews and he's, you know, does all this thing, but you could see these little things slip by where he really wasn't. Like he had, you know, you could tell the truth, especially when he had too much to drink, was usual. You could see these things slip by. But you know, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. Please continue.
No, what I was going to say is the most important thing I wanted to say to your audience out there, and very important, that unfortunately, because they're trying to silence me and because they don't want the truth to come out, it's not going to happen. They won't silence me. I will be posting. I'd like for whoever out there to follow me at Lev Parnas on Twitter. I'm going to be posting. I just currently literally posted before I came on the show evidence that didn't come out in the impeachment because of them, but I posted an email from John Solomon telling me that the FBI got Hunter Biden's bank records, and he gave them to me. And this is going back to March of 2019. So I'm going to be posting more and more.
Good.
Also, anybody that really wants to understand what's going on, because unfortunately, Brian, one podcast, one interview, you can't get it all in because it's all
Right.
subject matters.
Sure.
That's why I wrote the book. I recommend everybody reads the book because you will really then understand the level of corruption that Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and a lot of other people went to.
Yeah, and I want people to get your hands on that book. I want to read it as well. I guess this would be my last question for you. What would be your message out there to all the MAGA Trump supporters out there who Donald Trump said I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'll still support me? For the cultists out there who, by the way, you probably can't change their mind. I certainly can't. Many of them are brainwashed. But I'm just curious, for the politicians like the Jim Jordans and the James Comers and the Matt Gaetzes out there, to the millions of Americans that still support Donald Trump, Lev, what would be your message to them?
I'd say open up your eyes before it's too late. Whatever you're thinking, he's an imaginary hero in your mind. And I promise you, if you really get to know the real Donald Trump or any other of these people that are pushing these lies, you'll understand that it's not about you. They're self-centered, narcissistic. It's all about them. Donald Trump would not allow you ever into his home, into his Mar-a-Lago, or anywhere else. The real Donald Trump, trust me, you don't know this person. He's a fake that comes out there. And at the end of the day, he's a coward because, you know, he has no, just think about it. Crickets, not one tweet, not one response. But I'm going to keep putting out the messages out there. And I'm going to putting out the proof until one day we forget who Donald Trump is and we could start uniting our country again and stop this division.
Amen, Lev. Well said. I guess the good news is it might not be his Mar-a-Lago sometime soon, but we'll have to wait and see about that. Lev, thank you so much for your honesty and what you've done. It's so important. I thought your testimony was captivating and honest. And, you know, you're on the right side of history, my friend, and I appreciate what you do. And we'd love to have you on the show again down the road, Lev, but I really do appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian. Absolutely. And everybody out there, watch out for Venmo Matt Gaetz. He's on the prowl.
He probably is. He probably yeah, check out that Venmo account. I love it. Again, Lev, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
You too. Have a good weekend. Lev Parnas, buddy. Venmo Matt Gaetz, or as I like to call him, DUI Matt Gaetz. What a scumbag Matt Gaetz is, huh? What a scumbag. Listen, Lev made some mistakes. He paid the price for it. But like a Michael Cohen or others that are now on the right side of history that might have paid the price,